Is it inflation, or are you just hallucinating? Are you seeing the economic data in your daily life, and is it all rosy? I would guess a resounding no. All the while, central banks around the world are reducing their dollar reserves and buying gold in record amounts not seen in history. Are central banks sensing weakness in the dollar and counterparty risk by holding it in reserve? If the smart money that usually run the printing presses are stocking up on gold, it makes sense that the ordinary investor prepare as well. If you think you may be falling behind in your financial goals, see the video description to access the free Inflation Retirement Calculator to make sure that you are on track. Also, please share your experience in the comments. To discuss the present economic environment and how investments in scarce and time-tested assets like gold and silver can help you secure your financial future, we will hear from macro analyst and investor Lyn Alden, economist, White House advisor, and author Jim Rickards.
Now central banks have become net buyers, not only Russia and China, which are by far the two biggest, but you see Iran, Turkey, Philippines, Kazakhstan, Vietnam, Mexico. These are all countries that are adding to their gold reserves. And of course, the U.S. hasn't sold any since 1980, any significant amount of gold. So all this is pointing towards tighter and tighter supplies. Now, I just returned from Switzerland where I met with the head of the world's largest gold refinery. He told me that he's back ordered. His customers want more gold than he can sell, than he has, and he's having difficulty sourcing it. And he said, China wants to buy a lot more than I can sell them, but my plant's working 24 hours a day. I can't sell them anymore. Meanwhile, I'm having difficulty finding the gold in the first place. So you've got these massive buying programs from Russia and China, acute physical shortages, and it's leading up to kind of the mother of all short squeezes. We'll see how it plays out, but my advice to investors is get your gold now. What are you waiting for? People say, well, I'll wait for the price to go up. Well, it'll go up. You can count on that, but you may not be able to get the physical gold when the time comes. So the time to get it is now. Now, with China still buying, see, China has an interest in a lower price. If you were out to buy 3,000 tons, you wouldn't want the price to go up. Eventually you will, but not yet, because you're still a buyer. So I'm not completely confident that the Shanghai Gold Exchange will escape manipulation by the Chinese government, because at the end of the day, they still favor slightly lower prices because they still want to buy some. And so my advice to investor is, hey, if China is sitting on the price of something that's bound to go up, why don't you get some now at the bargain price?
We've seen the inflation spike, and then in many countries we're starting to see disinflation. And I think a lot of people assume that once that goes down, it's just behind us now. And that was the story that happened. Whereas I think an issue is that inflation is ready to return should, for example, the Fed eventually pivot or get dovish in some way. Basically, as long as they stop holding down demand, as long as the supply side's unaddressed, it's ready to come right back. In this type of scenario, you have to go back to kind of the 1940s to find a similar environment, which was, major developed countries with very, very high sovereign debt levels, and then they run into inflation. And the question is, how do they handle that? And normally the way they handle that is by, printing despite the fact that inflation's high. So if you look at public debt and private debt in the United States, it's about 370% of GDP. Then that is bullish for more scarce assets in the long term. The end game of a very, very indebted sovereign country is that they have to do often QE type of activities even when inflation's above target, just to support the bond market.
Just a quick interruption to say thank you for supporting our channel. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this video content. It really does make a difference. Also, a quick mention and shout out to one of our sponsors, Augusta Precious Metals. With over a decade in the industry, Augusta Precious Metals is one of the leading gold investing companies for trust, customer empowerment, and prices. The company provides 401k rollover services to tax-advantaged gold IRAs, as well as a unique gold investing educational webinar and resources for their customers, helping beginning and experienced investors protect their retirement wealth with confidence. Whether you are starting a brand new gold IRA or rolling over an existing account, the company will make this process seamless and stress-free. To find out more about Augusta Precious Metals, see the link in the video description to visit Augusta Precious Metals' official site to receive a free gold investing guide. Also, check out our video review of Augusta Precious Metals by clicking the link in the top right. Now, back to the episode.
And suddenly in 1980, the price of gold exploded, went over the course of, from 1971 to 1980, went from $35 an ounce to $800 an ounce. And I hear this a lot. People say to me, well, Jim, I hear what you're saying, but if it's all manipulated and there's all this price suppression, why should I buy some? Because these governments, 500-pound gorillas like China are just going to squash the price. How am I, as an investor, ever going to benefit if the price is getting squashed? And my answer is that gold is being manipulated, but it's been manipulated over 100 years at this point, at least since 1914, and all the manipulations ultimately fail. So yes, it was manipulated during World War I. It was manipulated in terms of price in 1925 when the UK went back on the gold standard. It was, you could say, that Bretton Woods was a manipulation because they fixed the price at a certain level. The London gold pool of the late 1960s was an effort to squash the price. It failed. The US dumped another 1,000 tons in the late 70s. That failed. The UK sold their gold. That failed. I mean, so the manipulations are there, but they always fail. And so my view of it is when you see a manipulation aimed at suppressing the price, it's a gift. I mean, some very powerful government is giving you a gift there because they're sitting on the price. Buy it at those levels, and then when the manipulation fails, which it always does, and the price skyrockets, you win.
Gold holds a proven, time-tested track record as an economic constant that spans millennia. Why is it important to have an economic constant? What is the main question every person planning their retirement or building a business needs to ask themselves? Are we growing wealth or losing wealth? And how do we measure this? Gold is that tool. With a 5,000-year record that has withstood every economic business cycle, stock market booms and busts, global conflicts, and outlasting every faith-based fiat currency, gold is no one's liability. It builds wealth while preserving it. Owning physical gold and precious metals requires responsible sourcing of grades, purity, condition, the best prices, transparency, and most of all, security and storage. Gold IRAs are a tax-deferred means of owning physical gold and ensuring all these investing principles are met. We have reviewed and vetted the best gold IRA companies that meet all these requirements. See the link in the video description to access the free gold investment guides. An often used criticism for holding gold is the opportunity cost of gaining yields elsewhere, such as bonds or high-quality equities. Monetary Metals is a gold investment company that unlocks the productivity of gold by offering a yield on gold paid in gold. Monetary Metals delivers interest on gold through the company's gold fixed income investments, which aim to provide a fixed return with low risk of loss. This provides investors exposure to gold's unique attributes, plus a real yield that grows your total of gold ounces held. To learn more about Monetary Metals and their innovative investment products, see the link in the video description. If you have $100K of retirement savings to protect and want to take advantage of the best gold prices, see the link in the video description to sign up for the free Gold and Silver Web Conference hosted by Augusta Precious Metals. Thank you for watching.